Let's head into the chat room now, and joining me today is Nine's Lisa Fernandez in Perth and the Daily Mail's Frank Coletta in Sydney. Welcome to both of you.
Good afternoon.
Hi Amber, hi Frank.
Well, first up today, a vile Instagram account that rated so-called schoolgirl sluts has been shut down, with 2 Year 11 students from a private boys' school in Melbourne suspended over the incident. Now, the account was closed over the weekend after a mum saw a photo of her daughter with a caption about the sex acts that she would perform on boys. Lisa, this just sends a chill down my spine.
Yeah.
You know, as a mother of a young girl, as you are, I find this so horrifying. What do you think, and what sort of ramifications do you think the boys should face over this?
All right, look, I heard this story, it was disgusted like you. They need to be named and shamed, okay, for starters. We need to know, who are these kids? We need to know a little bit more about them. Where are they learning? Do they come from good families? If not, there needs to be education here. They're not understanding why this is wrong, why this is bad, why this is disgusting, why it's disrespectful to women, why it's disrespectful to females, right? So they need to be a bit more transparent. The school needs to be transparent and say, OK, these are the boys. This is where it went wrong. This is how we're going to educate them and help them. Expelling, suspending, how does that work? That's just a few days off school, right?
Naming and shaming is pretty harsh for, even for a 17-year-old.
Amber, what are they going to turn into like when they're teenagers?
Yeah.
If they're doing stuff like this now, what are they going to be like as teenagers? That's my question. And we need to. And you know what? Well, the young girl up there, she's been pretty much, you know, out there in that horrible Instagram account being called a slut and being rated. Well, we need to know who's doing this and why. It needs to be more transparent. We need to stop worrying about, oh, what effect is it going to have on those boys? Well, you know what? Those boys are acting in a really bad way and they need to be punished and educated.
Frank, look, social media is very hard to control, and I guess as parents we need to be vigilant, just like the mum of one of the victims here.
Yeah, and look, I've got to say, Amber, that I'm with Lisa on this one. Suspension is pretty much a little automatic holiday for these guys. So in essence, what are you doing if you're suspending them? You're just taking them away from the scene of the crime for a little while and they cool their heels. But what is the end game here? Do they get expelled? That is the question. And do they get off scot-free if they get expelled as well? I think the education process is absolute here, and the naming and shaming, I wouldn't go against that either. I think there's something to be said for what Lisa's put forward there as well. But the crux of the matter is this: if the school has an education program around consent and respect, that's great. Well, it needs to be rolled out further because clearly it is not working. But if it means that they are put forward in front of their peers and they are told these two guys have made the mistake, well, then I don't think I've got too much of an issue. Enough of this. You know, basically, when someone of this age does something wrong, we suspend them. What happens after that?
Well, when Lisa first said it, I thought it would sound a bit harsh, but now, you know, now you say it, I guess it would obviously, you know, get the message through to the other kids, and certainly you wouldn't see any other boys doing it if they're going to be named and shamed. Maybe that is the answer. All right, well, moving on, there is a growing trend on social media through the use of viral memes to laugh at how much mothers drink. As one writer says, the 5 p.m. glass of wine is the holy grail. It's what parents hang on to get through the banality of raising small children. She argues that these days, though, women are using motherhood as an excuse to drink, giving the message that it's normal. It's just what mums do. Frank, I'm resisting the temptation to say, hell yeah. Do you think modern mums are normalising drinking too much?
Oh, gee, that's a loaded question to me, the sole bloke on this one. Look, I think as a broad answer, I'm not quite sure what it is, but we do hold on to very tightly the beer o'clock side of things, don't we? That mantra that, yes, we deserve it at the end of the day. And it's perhaps a bigger problem in the sense that the cultural binge drinking issue that we have in Australia has perhaps gone from the pub and the after hours after work to home now, so maybe that's an issue. Look, the facts are these, that we drink on average, I think it's about 12 litres per capita here in Australia, puts us in the top 20 of those drinkers around the world. It's the same as France, but here's the hook. In France, it's a totally different way of drinking, for instance. In Australia, unfortunately, a lot of the times it's just to get out there and get plastered, unfortunately.
I agree with you. The alcohol, you know, alcohol-related violence and alcohol is a problem in our society. But hang on, we're grown-up women. We can have a glass and not have another one for the most part. Lisa, I don't know about you. I'm the first one to admit I enjoy a glass of wine when I get home from work or after a day looking after the kids. Is it such a bad thing?
Look, I love the Freo Dockers, a glass of wine after work and my child in that order. OK? So let me make that really clear. The second thing, Amber, is that this article was written by a woman who doesn't drink. Really? you know, I don't want your opinion. I don't care. Just, I'm not interested. I hate non-drinkers when they write about alcohol. Like, stop it. Thirdly, and I will get serious here, if you look at the leading causes of death in Australia for men, and she's writing about her son, you know, actually for 15 to 44-year-olds, it's suicide. So you know what? Let's open the conversation about why our young kids are dying of suicide in Australia, rather than worrying about mums coming home and having a glass of wine or two after work when they're working really hard and trying to be a good mum and a good wife and looking after kids and earning an income.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Secondly, also, then if you go down the list, there's breast cancer is the next leading cause of death, lung cancer, coronary heart disease. You know, like, let's address these other things. Stop it with the alcohol.
Stop mum shaming
us. You know, that's one or two moderate mums who moderately drink one glass of wine after work is not a drama, people. It's not. And if you think it's a drama, then don't talk to me. And my Instagram account is Lisa J Fernandez if you'd like to disagree.
All right, we have to move on because I want to get to this last one. Students across Victoria will ditch their school chairs and stand more to beat obesity. Now, there's been a 2-year trial and researchers found during this time that cutting the time sitting by just 30 minutes a day has a huge effect on health and also academic results. In fact, the pilot was so successful, the uni was awarded a grant to introduce it to schools statewide. Frank, what do you think of this initiative, and do you think it's something that should be rolled out right across the country?
Yeah, fantastic. It's awesome, and yes, it should be. And let's not stop there as well, Amber. Let's look at other areas, and particularly we're talking about the junk food side of things. Let's revolutionise it, make it an evolution, if you like, in the canteens and the like. And the other thing is as well, this should be rolled out further at home when the kids are getting in front of the computers, the TVs, the Androids, all that sort of thing. Let's stop them for half an hour. Mums and dads have got to take up the cudgels for this thing and say, you know what, here's a ball, go outside, run around. So yeah, start at school, absolutely, but roll it out into the homes as well. I know they're trying to do it with this Pokemon Go thing, where people are going outside and chasing these little cartoon characters. But I'm with you. There's some safety issues.
Lisa, look, it sounds like a great way to tackle the obesity crisis, but as Frank says, it's a lot of responsibility on the schools. Families need to step up too.
Yeah, I agree, Amber. I know you think the same way. You know, you can do one thing at school and completely different things are happening at home. I think schools need to work a little bit more in conjunction with the parents and let them know, OK, we're implementing this sort of a plan to decrease obesity, to get kids moving more. Hey, maybe you could do something at home for half an hour and we can do something at school for half an hour, you know, so that you're more on track with what the school's doing, and then the kids are getting the same message at home and at school. But I will say a lot of parents are busy.
Yes, they are busy. So I'm going to stand up, drink my glass of wine and do Pokemon Go. Is that what I've taken out of this chat room?
Do you know what? You are a good parent for doing that, Amber. I will say that.
Lisa and Frank, great to talk to you. We'll talk to you again soon.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Bye.
And it is time to say goodbye to our Western Australia viewers. Queensland viewers, stand by for Nine's afternoon news. All other states, stick around. Up next, the latest on the fatal police shooting in the US, including Donald Trump's controversial response. Plus, a truck carrying ethanol catches fire on one of Sydney's busiest roads. And an important fraud warning for mum and dad investors right around the country.